When you're playing a game, it doesn't matter if it's a video game or a physical game like football or basketball or soccer or, well, football if you're in another country besides America, or cricket or baseball. It doesn't matter. If you know the rules to the game, there's a way to win playing by rules that nobody else knows. Not that you're cheating per se, but you're kind of using the rules to your advantage, little known rules that other people don't know about. That's a special kind of manipulation. The rules are there for a reason, but how you use those rules, now that's a different thing. Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast, 5-minute videos, 5 days a week. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. I remember playing pool one night in a competitive situation, and we were getting ready for the 2002 Annual Billiards Championship. Now, this was happening in the spring right after 9/11 happened in 2001. I know many of you don't even remember that because you weren't alive then, but the purpose of that part of the story is that it was really complicated to carry a pool cue on an airplane because they thought it might be a defensive or offensive weapon because it was a stick. So you had to actually check your luggage. Well, just before that, in a tournament, a finalized tournament that kind of depended on where you were, it determined where you were in the ranks on whether or not you could actually go to Las Vegas to the tournament or not. And so in this tournament, there is a known rule that almost no one applies. But this known rule is a guaranteed disqualifier rule. And the reason that it's a rule is because of the psychological impact that a particular behavior has on both sides of the table, both players. So what happened was I'm playing against a guy who's a real hothead. He's the kind of guy that's yelling and screaming every time he misses a shot. He tries to change the pace of the game. He tries to distract you. He tries to tell you, "Oh, that shot is easy. You've got this. I'm just a goner." Kind of the negative way of encouragement, but at the same time, somewhat demoralizing. And so he's playing these head games the entire game. Well, we get down to the final where it's the first person to win 5 games, and we both have 4. So it's literally this game, and it's 9-ball, and it's whoever sinks the 9-ball wins the game. So he lines up with a 7-9 combination, and he shoots at this 7-9 combination, and he misses it, but the 7 rolls to one side of the table and the 9 to the other side of the table, and it's a fairly easy 7, 8, 9 out. Not a big deal. I've been shooting long enough. I got this covered. But as I line up on the 7-ball, he walks to the opposite end of the table, right over the pocket the 7-ball is going to fall in, and he starts taking his stick apart. He unthreads it and pulls the 2 pieces apart. And I stood up and I laid my stick down and I raised my hand for a judge. The judge walked over and I said, "Am I not mistaken that in the rules, taking your stick apart before the game is over is considered a forfeiture of the game?" Now, the guy standing there with 2 halves of a stick in his hand is absolutely irate. He's jumping up and down, literally. He's screaming, he's cussing, he's yelling. He did everything but throw the pool cue at me. "That's chicken S, and I can't believe you would do that. Just shoot the effing shot." I mean, just on and on and on and on and on. When he finished his 5-minute tirade, the judge looked at me and said, "The outcome of this particular game is determined. You are the winner. He is the loser." And the guy went off again. He's like, he didn't even shoot the last 3 shots. He said he doesn't have to shoot them. You took your stick apart. That's a forfeiture. You told him by taking your stick apart, you no longer wanted to compete in this contest. I want you to let that sink in for a minute and then consider all the other places in life where just understanding the rules makes all the difference in whether you win or lose. It's not even sometimes how well you played the game or how you played the game. It's, do you understand the rules well enough to use them to your advantage? Now, in some instances, what we see is between season, a massive rule change. Sometimes what we see is just before the game starts, a a rule exception. One example might be in NFL, and I don't know if this is true in collegiate sports, but in the NFL, if there is a play that is challengeable, and some plays are challengeable, position of the ball, whether or not it was a catch, were they inbounds or out of bounds, and some plays are not challengeable. Was there a holding call? Was that interference a true interference call? Should there have been interference, but there was a no call? You don't even get to ask that question. But the ones that are challengeable, unless the booth forces the challenge, meaning it's under 2 minutes, or it's on a scoring play, or it's on a change of possession, the amount of time you have to decide whether or not you'll challenge the play is not determined by the team who has the right to challenge. It's determined by the team who might get challenged on. And the determination is how fast they snap the ball. So if you know that you just got away with something, if you know that you just cheated and that ball was really out of bounds, if you know that the possession of the ball on a fumble or an interception is going to be reversed and you're not going to get to keep it, the way you prevent your opponent from challenging is snap the ball as fast as you can. Get it going right now. Get that ball snapped, even if it turns into another penalty, because the change of possession, the interception, the fumble, whatever the play was that you got away with, now becomes ancient history, literally in a matter of seconds. If you rush up to the line and snap the ball and spike the ball, you still have removed the other team's right to challenge the previous play. Now, I don't know if you're catching on to the metaphor here, but we're seeing that right now. The media has decided to snap the ball as fast as they possibly can to eliminate the potential challenge of a decision that they've already made and announced. They want to snap the ball and move on. Let's just move on. Let's go on to the next play. It's halftime. Let's go to halftime. Let's go to a 2-minute warning. Let's do anything except review what just happened, because what just happened might not go in our favor if it gets reviewed. Now, I don't care if you're talking about 9-ball or 8-ball. I tell people all the time, I've been playing pool long enough and I play pretty well. I really don't care what rules you choose. PBA, BSA, BCA, ballroom or pool hall rules. I don't care. Make up your own. Here's the only thing that I request is that whatever rules apply to you, apply to me. So if the 8-ball is neutral and you can use the 8-ball in a combination, I can use the 8-ball in a combination as well. By the way, I play well enough that most people I can beat without any cheating in the rules. But if you're going to give me advantages, of course I'm going to take them. Oh, shovel shots. Yeah, that kind of lift up the ball with your stick and throw it to the other side of the table to call it a jump shot. Sure, if you're going to do those, I'm going to do those. By the way, before I knew that was an illegal shot, I got really good at them. Oh, you only want to play left-handed. Okay, not a problem. See, I don't care what the rules are. Chances are I'm going to take your rules and beat you with them. But understanding the rules is a big key. Changing the rules before the game starts is an even bigger key to manipulation. And it's usually a sign. To change the rules just as the game starts or in the middle of the game, regardless of the game, is usually a sign that you don't feel like you can win if everything stays on par. You feel like you need some special advantage, i.e., new rules on your side, in order to win. Look, as leaders, part of our job, besides truth, is also fairness. And in fairness, part of that obligation is to say that everyone plays on an even keel. If they get to watch, then they get to watch. If they get to coach, then they get to coach. Another one of those questions in billiards. If you're playing teams or doubles, does the other person get to coach the person who's on the table? Do they get to coach them while they have the stick in their hand and they're standing at the table, or only on the side between shots, or not at all? Those rules can't be changed in the middle of the game and expect everyone to have fairness. Those rules need to be decided early on and then adhered to. So whatever game you're playing, relationship game, the leadership game, the career game, the education game, it doesn't matter what game you're playing. If you don't understand the rules, you are already at a disadvantage. And if you understand the rules well enough to use them to your advantage, just have enough integrity to use them to your advantage without using them to cheat. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.